I've spoken at over 3,000 conferences in the last 15 years, and here are 3 top tips for getting more out of your events. First of all, you need to consider that your conference is not an event. It should be part of a process. If you think of it just as something that happens in the diary at a moment in time and focus all your energy and effort just on getting that razzmatazz day or two right with all the food and the venue and the entertainment and PowerPoint slides and links and speeches and sessions, it can get quite exhausting. But if that's your entire focus and all your budget and resources and energy are just on making a great event, you will fail, because that has to be part of a process. If you want to make sure that people take what happens at that conference and take it back to the workplace, if you want to make sure that it impacts your business strategy, changes people's thinking, changes their behavior, then the first key tip is you must think of it as a process. The event itself is part of the process, but the whole thing needs to be a process. What are you doing to lead up to that event? Or what are you doing at the event, and then what leads away from it? So that's a mindset shift. Let me give you 2 further tips to actually put some meat onto that thought. The second key tip is that you need to make your conferences interactive and collaborative. Conferences die a death because they are one-way communication. If the one-way communication is interesting, you've got some professional speaker in who knows what they're doing, you've got a comedian or an entertainer, that's at least something. But most of your internal speakers are going to be as boring as anything. People get conference fatigue and the data just washes over them. Whether it's an internal speaker or an external speaker, we need to find ways to get more interactive. This can be as simple as having a Q&A or a panel discussion or breakaway sessions after each of the various speakers. That's fairly obvious and easy to do, but we can do more than that. First of all, we need to ask, is the information that is being presented something that could be given separately? In my opinion, this has got nothing to do with whether the speaker wants to surprise people with information or whether even the content itself. It's got to do with behavior change. Are you trying to change people's behavior? If you are, then yeah, do it at the event, do it live, but focus on presenting not the data, but on the stuff that's going to change people's minds. If what you are presenting is just information, then send it out in advance, record it by video, send it to people in advance. Or if it has to be done at the event, record it in advance so that you can edit it, tighten it up, make it a little bit more fun and entertaining, put some graphics in to accentuate what you really want people to hear. So what we're saying is consider the content. Secondly, what you need to do is use technology at your events. It's very easy to incorporate apps or text-based situations where people can simply be interactive throughout the session. Don't tell people to put their phones away. Keep them out. Make sure you use technologies. Some of them you can spend a lot of money, build a whole app for your event. Others are very cheap, just text-based communications in which people can interact, chat to each other, and send you information. Thirdly, don't pack your agenda so full that it's just session after session after session after session. You've got to leave space. You've got to leave space for people to think, for people to internalize, and for people to connect and collaborate. And finally, why don't you get somebody in who can help you to do this? There are people who actually, this is their job. And many people like myself and our team, as part of what we do as speakers, we are also able to facilitate the conversation, the workshop that goes along with our content. So make sure in whatever ways you can that you give people a voice, that you allow them to contribute, to collaborate and to engage, and that you don't overfill your conferences with content. Now, the third thing that I suggest that you do, and this is probably the most important, is that with each speaker, whether they're internal or external, you ask them, how are you going to take your speech at the conference and take it back to the workplace? What resources, materials, support have we got so that people can take that information back to their workplaces? This can be in the form of worksheets, books to read, videos, online courses and programs, ongoing resources that they supply. At Tomorrow Today, our team has developed what we call the Future of Work Academy. It's an online membership program, and people can sign up for a month at a time and are able to get short kind of soundbite videos, short little quick articles to read. We're aiming to give them 5 to 6 minutes a day, and it takes the content that we deliver as a team at presentations and workshops and leadership programs, chunks it up into small, easy to access, practical, valuable, immediately applicable resources, and gives people access to that so that they can take it back to the workplace and use it. We can even set up a system where people are emailed once a day, 2 or 3 times a week, once a week, depending on what works in your company culture. And they then get reminded of what they heard at the conference. They get given inspiration and insight that can help them to change their thinking and change their behavior so that they will actually be affected by the conference they went to and therefore change the business in the weeks and months ahead. If you want to get more out of your conference, you really do need to ask your speakers how they plan on supporting what happens at the event in a process afterwards as well. The best speakers, the people that you would want to speak at your conference, are going to have a good answer for that. If you need more information about how we at Tomorrow Today do it and how I, Graeme Codrington, can do it for you, please contact us. We'd love to show you how.